Hi, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. My name is Jack Newman. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the best type of targeting that you can run regardless of the industry that you're in 2022 on Facebook. So there's tons of targeting options on Facebook that you can choose from. And what I'm going to do is talk about my approach, what we're doing with the accounts that we're working with, what we're doing with our own business to generate leads, and generally the mindset and the best sort of targeting strategies that you can be leveraging. So there's lots of different targeting options on Facebook, as I'm sure you're aware. The most common is interest-based. So right here, if you have a look on the targeting options at the ad set level, you'll see here we've got a few different options. Again, I'm just going to run through most of them and then talk about the way that I'm doing this. So the first here at the very top, if we just go top to bottom, is custom audiences. So custom audiences are things like lookalikes and retargeting audiences. So a lookalike audience is very simply where I say, look, there's 1,000 people or 10,000 people that have visited our website in the last 30 days. I want to find people similar to that audience. So you're telling Facebook, go out, find people who are very similar to those who have already taken an action. And that could be website visits, it could be on Facebook engagement, it could be Instagram engagement, it could be add to carts, purchases, it could be leads, whatever it is that your business wants to track and push that data through to Facebook. That can be created into a lookalike audience where Facebook will find people similar. Now, the advantages to this, they're typically quite high intent. The disadvantages to this is a small audience, so it's not scalable. I'm going to talk more about the most scalable audience possible and why we are leveraging that strategy in just a second. Now, retargeting, again, very simple. What we're doing is we're creating an audience of people who are or who have taken a specific action on either your website or on Facebook, and we are retargeting them. So for example, people that have watched 50% of your Facebook ad videos, we could retarget those with another advert to follow up and see if they want to purchase a product. We could follow up with people that have added the product to the cart in the last 15 days, and we could retarget them with a 10% off coupon. So what we're doing here is we're basically getting back in front of people who have already expressed interest. I do love retargeting audiences. They can be extremely profitable. There is a way that we can kind of not need to create this in the ad set level, and instead we can allow Facebook to do some of the retargeting for us, which I'll talk about in a second. But overall, I do leverage retargeting audiences regularly, and they are highly profitable when done correctly. Now, the next type of targeting here, of course, we can add our locations, we can add our age ranges, we can add genders. The most popular type of targeting is going to be detailed targeting. So this is where, for example, let's just take our own business. We're a marketing agency. We want business owners to work with us. We would type in like business owner, okay? So you're going to try and find people who are small business owners, maybe business page admins on Facebook. So we're essentially trying to find people who are match certain either behaviors or interests or demographics. So you can see here, these are behaviors. So Facebook has identified these as small business owners. Let's just say we're like an e-commerce brand selling jewelry. Let's say it's like a jewelry product, but it's like a pet themed, okay? So for example, like you're selling dog jewelry, you might put in like dog lovers, for example. Okay, something like this, and you would find an interest. Dog lovers, there you go, you got 31 million to 36 million, all right? Again, you might sort of look at like a necklace, and you're gonna find interest, 88 million people to 104 million people have the interest necklace, okay? So this is probably the most popular type of targeting. But if you notice down here, there's something that Facebook's trying to encourage us to do, and this is a sort of clue in terms of how we're approaching targeting going forwards. They've got this option here, which is checked by default, and it might look slightly different on your ad account depending on which version you have, because they always roll things out in a staged approach. But you've got this advantage detailed targeting. Now, this basically means Facebook will reach people beyond your detailed targeting selections when it's likely to improve performance, meaning they will actually take your ads and serve them to people outside of the specific demographics and interests that you have told Facebook to target if they think that other people are likely to convert. Now, this is a clue in terms of how we're doing things, because this means that Facebook understand how to reach people outside of what you're just telling it to do in terms of being able to generate additional conversion. So they know, look, when we have more free reign, we can go after people who are likely to get the outcome that you want, even if you've not put them inside of your targeting. Now, the way that we're targeting on Facebook for our clients and for our own business is to lean more into this machine learning approach where Facebook is able to actually go after people that it thinks with a high probability are likely to take the actions that we're optimizing for. So what we do is we actually are going broad with our targeting. So we are ignoring this section here, this detailed targeting. We're not putting anything in. So for example, let's say an e-commerce brand selling jewelry. where we would previously maybe put engaged shoppers, people that have purchased in the last 30 days or whatever it is, or we might be putting in interest related to the jewelry type, necklaces, high-end jewelry, luxury. We're just going to ignore all of that. We're not going to put anything in here. And we're also not going to put anything in our custom audiences. All we're going to do is put the location, the age range where it's relevant, and the gender if it's relevant. So again, if it's women's jewelry that you're selling, it might make sense to just put women in terms of the gender there that we're targeting, unless the advert could be targeting their partners as well and getting them to buy it as a gift. So, in that example, there's always reversals, but if it's a product that's exclusively for men, let's say, we wouldn't be targeting men if that is who's buying your product. So you're putting in that criteria, but we're not adding in any interest, and we're not excluding any interest, and that will be checked by default, so we can leave that on. Now, how does this work? Because what we're doing here is we're not actually telling Facebook to do anything. We're not actually telling Facebook to go after people who like a specific interest. But that's completely fine, because what Facebook will do is it will look at your advert, it will look at your landing page, it will look at the image, the video, the copy, everything. And Facebook will understand who you're trying to go after. And the Facebook platform will then actually be able to put your adverts in front of people who are likely to convert. Facebook knows this based on all the data points that they have on every single individual that's on their platform. Some people have been on the platform for 10 plus years. So Facebook has a really strong understanding of the behavior, the type of person, and what they are likely to do and how they are likely to behave. Okay, it's very accurate in terms of being able to predict that. So what we're allowing Facebook to do is go after those people. We're telling it at the beginning here by creating a conversions campaign. We're telling Facebook, look, we want you to be able to get us purchases, for example. Okay, so we're optimizing for a purchase objective, or if it's a lead gen campaign, we're optimizing for lead generation. And we're saying to Facebook, look, go after people who are likely to become leads or are likely to buy our product. And we're inputting obviously the ad copy, the images, the videos, and the landing page, but we are then allowing Facebook to do the targeting for us. One of the major advantages of doing this is that this audience is very scalable, and we've completely eliminated an entire point where we're testing things. So rather than, let's say, testing 5 different audiences, okay, where we've got, people who like jewelry, necklaces, luxury clothes, luxury vehicles, they travel frequently, they recently purchased a product on Facebook, they're an engaged shopper, all of that kind of demographic and interest-based targeting. Rather than having to split test all of these different options, what we're doing is we're completely eliminating all of that, and we're taking one massive kind of phase out of our process. And this speeds everything up, and it also means we can scale, because let's just say audience 1 is working extremely well, okay, today or this week. We've got the interest 1, which is maybe engaged shoppers, is working extremely well. Well, at some point that audience is going to stop performing, because we're going to reach the upper limit of people. We're going to be spending more money through the audience. It's maybe not scalable because there's a limit in terms of how many people are on it. It's also something that is dynamic. So people are going inside and outside of that audience. So it's changing consistently, which again means that our ads are being put in front of people who are at different stages of that cycle. And maybe the wrong person is coming into that audience, or maybe the right person is coming into that audience. So it's going to change the way that the campaigns perform. Instead, when we go broad, we've got infinite scalability in that sense, okay? Because we're not limiting ourselves in terms of the targeting. So we're allowing Facebook to find the people who are most likely to respond, regardless of what interest or category they've been put into within the platform. Now, this is extremely important, and it phases out an entire process, like I said, of having to test different audiences. Because back to that example of having 5 different audiences, maybe 1 or 2 of them work really well today, or this week, or this month. But going forward, what are we going to do in terms of the 3 that have failed? And what is the cost of those 3 that have failed versus the 2 that have won, and the scalability and the potential of the 2 that have won? So let's say we've lost out on 3, 2 of them are working well. And what also tends to happen as well in this example is maybe one advert works well in one audience, another advert works well in another audience, and then a different type of creative works in another audience. So it's very kind of unclear as to what is actually working well. And we end up spending a lot of money and time testing different audiences and interests to see what is going to work the best. And one works really well for a few days, then it drops off. And I've seen this loads, and I had an account where we were trying this and we were testing tons and tons of audiences, and this just did not work at all. The money we would make winning on one audience did not outweigh the losses on all of the testing of other audiences and interests that we were running. And it just completely flopped in the end, and we actually lost that account as an agency. And this was a big learning curve for me. And this kind of encouraged me and pushed me more towards finding out about broad targeting, which is something I'd heard about at the time, but not really explored in our own business. And it really drove me to research this, find out more, seek help, mentors, and really find out how this performance and how this works and why it's something that people are biasing more and more towards in this space. Now, implementing this and fast forward to where we are today, where I've implemented this for our clients in our own business, the performance makes total sense and backs up all of the thought process and logic behind it, because we're no longer wasting money testing different interests, which are, some are a little bit better, some a little bit worse, but it's all evening out to be pretty much the same. And we're putting more and more time into something that is not ultimately giving us a better result. So we've completely eliminated that phase. We're now focused on the creative testing. We're now focused on the strategy, the offers, the product base, looking at other elements within the business that we can help to increase the lifetime value of the customers. We can help to improve the buyer journey, all of the email campaigns that go on the back of it. Whatever it is for that business, we're looking at all of those other aspects, and we're removing this massive piece where we're just consistently having to test new audiences in hopes that we can, find some winners essentially. Now, one great example is marketing for our own business. So we're trying to find business owners who want to work with an advertising agency to improve their results. Now, again, we could go onto Facebook and we could try and put in business owners, small business owners, Facebook page admins, all of this kind of stuff that would indicate that we might be able to find people who want our services. But instead, we went completely broad. So I just targeted the UK based on age, and that was completely it. And it's really interesting because all the money that we've spent and all the leads that we've generated, apart from, of course, you're going to get a few leads that are completely unqualified and, aren't even real numbers and stuff. But all of the leads that we've been able to get hold of and have booked in for calls have been business owners looking for marketing services. So that speaks directly to the performance of Broad, and it validates all of the logic and thinking behind it. Because if our business, which is fairly niche, we're looking for business owners looking for marketing services at a certain level of spend, if we can target Broad, and Facebook will immediately on a fresh ad account be able to find those types of people, serve our ads to them, and then consistently generate leads, it shows that this type of targeting is working extremely well. And it's not just on our own account. We've implemented this for the majority of our clients, and it's working extremely, extremely well. So look, this is what I would recommend you do in 2022 in terms of your targeting. It's not to say that you cannot run interests and they work. I'm sure they can and they do, and I've seen it work. But personally, the way that we are approaching things is to go broad with all of our marketing campaigns. It makes total sense. It's what Facebook is encouraging us to do, and the results back it up. I'll be making a lot more videos on this in the future, and I'll also be talking about how Facebook is able to do a lot of the retargeting for us, even with a broad campaign, because it's, again, very interesting to see that. And there's ways where you can actually simplify your account even further without the need to have extensive retargeting, top of funnel, bottom of funnel, middle of funnel campaigns, and it can work extremely well. So I'll be talking about that more in future videos as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, click the bell notification for additional videos, and any comments, just drop them below and I'll get back to you. If you're interested in working with an agency like ourselves, there is a link in the description where you can book a call with me. We can have a short 30-minute meeting and see if what we offer aligns with what your business needs. Thanks very much.